Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about how my subleaser scammed me out of about 2 months rent. Fun times. So I had gotten my apartment in July of this year, and something came up to where me and my boyfriend needed to move to a different location and, you know, better job opportunities, that kind of thing. So we decided that we were going to sublease my apartment. I probably should have just gotten someone to sign it over to begin with, but my dumb ass didn't know that you could do that. So I find one of my coworkers is like, you know, my lease is about to run up. I really need a place, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know, that's perfect because I really need someone to take over my apartment. And it's cheap rent. It's $540 a month, and that includes water, so that's not bad at all. And he goes, oh my god, yes, great. So he seemed like a totally nice guy. Let's call him Dave. So Dave seemed like a nice guy, you know, like he's kind of nerdy. I didn't think anything of it. Figured I could trust him, but come to find out, you can't trust nobody. Anyway, so he moves in August. And I moved to Columbia, like everything's fine, or so I think. So I don't talk to him for like about a month and a half. And I figure, you know, he's paying his rent, like everything's fine, until I get an email saying you're late on your rent. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I log in to the portal that they have set up where I can see like how much I need to pay my rent, like when I need to pay. And it says that I'm behind by about $1,000. So I'm like, okay, weird. Let me call this guy and figure out what's going on. So I called him, and he says, you know, oh yeah, I'm kind of late on my rent, but they said it was fine at the company. I'm going to get it paid off soon. Like, don't worry. It's going to be fine. And I'm like, okay, that's still kind of sketchy, but okay. Can you get them to email me, like, the fact that you've talked to them, proof, so that, you know, I don't get evicted, because everything's going to go on to me if he doesn't pay, because he's the subleaser. So, you know, they emailed me and they said, we have a payment plan set up with Dave. You know, he's going to pay by this date, and I have it in writing and everything. So I'm like, okay, cool, sounds good. It's great. Anyway, so about another month goes by, and I decide to check the thing. I'm thinking he paid, you know, like he said he was going to, and it'll be fine. So I check the online portal again, and now it's about $1,600 behind, and I'm like, okay, so he didn't pay rent again this month? That was weird, but this was during Hurricane Maria, so I was like, you know, maybe something happened. So I get in contact with him again, and I ask, you know, like, hey, I thought you were going to pay your rent by the end of this month, but, you know, now it's even more behind and you didn't pay for this month. So I'm like, okay. So he replies and he says, I'm going to pay, but this apartment has fleas. I had to move out for 2 weeks to get it bombed. First of all, it doesn't even take that long to get an apartment bombed. Second of all, how did you get fleas? Because I have animals, but my animals don't have fleas, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then he goes on to say that a tree fell on his car, so he has to pay for that now. And so he's going to be paying a little bit later. I'm sorry, but none of that is my problem. Like, just pay your rent. That's not my problem. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care about your excuses. I just want you to pay the rent so that I don't get in trouble. Like, obviously, I don't want to get an eviction or any of that. So I talked to, you know, the company again, and they're like, oh, it's okay, he's gonna pay, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, like, this dude needs to pay. And so I tell him, like, you need to pay or else I'm gonna find another subleaser. And that's when he just loses it, and he's like, if you don't want me to sublease for you, then that's fine. I'm gonna move out by this and this date. I don't need to sublease here anymore, blah, blah, blah. He's going off. He's mad. He's like, you keep bugging me about it and annoying me. Yeah, I'm annoying you because I want you to pay the fucking rent like a normal human being so that I don't get in trouble and have to pay this huge amount when I already had to pay for a new place to live and all those kind of bills. So I'm like, okay, dude, you're a fucking douche. I'm like, you know what? I don't care if you move out, but you need to pay the rent that you live there for. Obviously, duh. And he's like, I'm gonna pay, but I'm moving out and you can find someone else to sublease. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's whatever. So I'm emailing them and I'm like, if he doesn't pay, I don't want to get screwed over. I don't want to get an eviction. Like, what can I do? Like, am I going to be okay? And they're like, yeah, you're going to be fine. He's going to pay. We have this payment plan set up for him and blah, blah, blah. Still feeding me all this bullshit. Okay. So it turns out I went on there and he had paid 2 rent payments. Well, not even 2 full rent payments because he paid $410 and another $410. The rent's $540, mind you. And so I'm like, okay, at least he's paying something. Like, I didn't even think he was going to pay. And it turns out one of his amounts bounced. So all he paid the entire time he lived in my apartment was $410. Not even the full rent payment. None of that. Like, it's so cheap. Like, I don't understand. Anyways, so I'm like, I didn't even know this. I thought he had paid everything off. I found someone to take over my apartment. They signed a new lease. I'm over it. Like, my name's no longer on the apartment. I don't care. So I'm like, okay, I found someone to take it over. I emailed them. I'm like, when am I going to get my security deposit back? And they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to mail it to you. What's your current address? So I give it to them and I'm like, okay. You know, like 3 weeks go by and I still haven't gotten my security deposit. So I emailed them again and I'm like, hey, do you know when my security deposit's going to be in the mail? Like, I still haven't gotten it. It's taking a while and I don't get a reply. So then I have to email them again the next day. I'm like, hey, I really need to know when that deposit's coming. It's kind of important. Can you just let me know? And still no reply. The next day I check my mail and I see the rental company's name on an envelope and I'm like, ooh, that's my security deposit. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lord. I need this money real bad. Then I open it. And guess what? Instead of my security deposit, it's a fucking bill for $369. Yeah. So, the dude literally paid $410 the entire 2.5 months he lived there. And instead of like telling me or like letting me know, the company just sends me a bill. They taken everything he owed out of my security deposit and then gave me the bill for whatever was left, including the late fees that he didn't pay. Yep. So they don't care that I said, you know, you guys emailed me saying it was cool multiple times. Nope. They don't give a shit. They're like, if you don't pay this by 5 days, then you're gonna have an eviction and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you kidding me? You literally couldn't tell me this in an email when I emailed you a bunch of times asking you where my deposit's coming in. Like, really? So I don't even want to talk to them at this point because I'm angry and I don't want to end up making it worse for myself than it already is. So I had my mom contact them and they gave me an extension to pay it at the end of the month. And if I don't pay it, then it's going to go to collections and it's going to mess up my credit, of course. So now I have to pay this $369 of rent for a place I didn't even live. Because this guy can't pay a cheap-ass rent, even though he has a job. I don't understand that one. It's not even that expensive, but okay. So, I basically told the guy that if he doesn't pay by the end of this month, that all he owes is $369. That's all he has to pay. If he doesn't pay that, then guess what? Taking you to court. And I'm gonna get that whole $1,400, including the court fees and all the rent that he didn't pay. And I gave him that ultimatum and he hasn't gotten contact with me back. So that's my life. That's my story of how my subleaser scammed me for about $1,400. And right in time for the holidays. So that was all my Christmas present money. Yep. Well, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want to. This is my first video, so it's not the best, but hopefully my future videos will be better. Leave me some comments below for some video suggestions, and I'll see you next time. Bye!